Good afternoon, friends. It's Greg here, and I'm back to talk about champagne. In this case, AR Lenoble Brut Intense champagne, and it's the Meg 15. As a lot of you know, champagne is made in the northern region of France. It is usually blends of multiple vintages. In the past, that was because it was tough to make a consistent cuvee, consistent wine, because champagne was a cold and marginal place. Champagne is pretty hot now. So things are changing. In this case, the producer, AR Lenoble, 100 years, family-owned, independent house. They have received an HVE certification for 20 years of sustainability. So they're doing really good things. And what they're doing is they're holding back reserve wines not to ensure ripeness, but to ensure freshness. They're putting a lot of reserve wine into magnums under cork, under a very small amount of carbonation, to add freshness and vibrancy to the blends year after year. So in this case, Meg 15, Magnum, again, it's signaling that we're using some of that wine that's been reserved in magnums. 15 meaning that the highlight of this blend is the 2015 vintage, which in Champagne was quite hot. It was not rainy, so the fruit was really quite ripe. This is made up 55% of the blend, 2015 vintage, 45% of which is the Meunier grape from Damery in the Marne Valley, 40% Pinot Noir from Bissai, Premier Cru Vineyard in the Montagne de Ram, 15% Chardonnay from Chuy Grand Cru in the Côte de Blanc. The wine, once fermented, did not undergo malolactic fermentation. So by not undergoing malolactic fermentation, we have kept the wine incredibly fresh and retained acidity because it was hot. There wasn't a lot to really hold on to if we did malolactic fermentation. So that is cool right there. The other 45%, 2011 vintage Chardonnay and Pinot Noir that were put into Meg under that small amount of pressure, aged for 4 years prior to being disgorged and blended with the 2015 vintage. And at that point, it is added to bottle, put down for an additional 4 years before being disgorged. And as far as dosage added, or the small amount of balancing sugar that usually kind of rounds out a champagne, a really minuscule tiny amount, like 2 to 3 grams per liter. So what we're getting here is like really pure expression of champagne, super sustainable practices, really not a lot of manipulation going on, which is pretty cool. In the glass, which is a white wine glass in my case, beautiful orchard fruits, apples, pears, there's crunchy red fruits, and the star of champagne is this really beautiful creamy brioche nougat nut. It's really amazing, and the minerality is really jumping out for me. There's an awesome, intense salinity that comes through. Super awesome. On the palate, this one is all about balance. Beautiful orchard fruits. It's crunchy, it's tart and refreshing. The red fruit's there. It's incredibly creamy, but again, so balanced, not heavy at all. And that salinity and minerality comes through on the finish. White wine glass, try it. You can do a flute if you want to retain some bubbles, but I'm all about the aroma and complexity. So that's why I do a white wine glass. Food on this, gosh, just about anything goes with champagne in my book. Favorites, potato chips, French fries, but you can do fried chicken. If you want to be healthy, I mean, you can do fish, salads, stuff like that. We're going to sling some pizza with this. Pizza and champagne are super crazy good friends. So yeah, get out there and get this wine. This is really an outstanding value. Great family, great wine, great process-driven wine. Goes with so much food. And it's really affordable as far as champagne goes. You're going to find this in retail like 50, 60, maybe 70 bucks. But for this amount of process in wine, for this much sustainability, for this much aging, really a bargain. I can think of maybe like 1 to 2 other producers that are holding back this much wine and doing this much process. So get out there and get the AR Lenoble Champagne Brut Intense Meg 15. I hope you enjoy it. Drink it in good health. I hope everybody stays safe and is well. Cheers.